Hi class, I'm here to talk to you about parties. Party on, Dwayne. um, Parties are an integral part of American politics, and they do actually very similar things to interest groups, right? Except the main difference between a political party and an interest group is the main goal of the political party, which is to win elections, all right? Political parties have a singular goal: get their people elected to control the government and change policy, right? And in order to do that, they do several things, which we talked about some of these things with interest groups, right? So they want to educate the public. They want to educate the public about their candidates, about their positions. Parties all have platforms, right? And their platforms are made of different planks, right? Every party has a stance on immigration, abortion, foreign policy, foreign aid, education, homeland security, etc., right? Parties are all different with terms of their platforms and their different specific platform planks, and they want to educate voters as to what they stand for, to try and convince voters that their party is the correct party and the candidates running on those platforms are the best candidates for them. They mobilize voters. They get people to the polls, right? Around election day, if you live in a state that has a competitive election or a district that has a competitive election, people probably come knock on your door and say, hey, look, remember, there's an election coming up. I know you're a registered Republican. Please remember to vote Republican, right? Or you're a registered Democrat. Please remember to vote Democrat. Get out to vote. Do you need help getting to the polls? Hey, we've got this bus chartered. We can come pick you up and get you to go vote. They want you to vote, right? Because if Democrats can turn out more Democrats than Republicans, Democrats will win. And if Republicans can turn out more Republicans, then Republicans will win. It's a simple strategy to win an election. Turn out more of your voters. So you've got to mobilize them. Parties recruit candidates. They get people to run for office, everywhere from president down to your local city council person. And they also run primaries. Primaries are the way parties select their candidates. So if there's a congressional race, right? There's going to be a congressional race in 2018. Democrats and Republicans have been holding primaries to see who's going to run on the party ticket in that district, right? So a bunch of Democrats will all run and compete for that seat. There'll be a primary election where Democratic voters get to pick who they want to run as the Democratic candidate in that district. The person who gets the most votes wins the primary, gets to be the candidate, right? And often parties will pick a candidate to support in that primary, right? We might, for an example, an easy example here is a primary campaign to be the senator from Pennsylvania, right? Democrats will, a bunch of people will run, but the Democratic Party knows that, hey, this very popular congressperson who's very influential wants to run for senator. We're going to back him because we know he's easily the best candidate over some random, school teacher who wants to be senator, right? This person has more name recognition. We're going to back this person. We're going to support them, right? Give the person money. We're going to give the person a staff. We're going to help the person get their political machine off the ground and running. Make sure the person wins the election. Okay? An interesting thing here is prior to PACs and super PACs, the primary source of income for candidates running were the parties. Parties raised money freely, and they could spend money freely on political candidates, which in turn bought party loyalty, right? Hey, you, loyal Republican, we supported you, we gave you money, we gave you staff. Make sure you continue to vote and act the way we, the party, want you to act and vote. Otherwise, we might throw our weight and support behind someone else. This is threatened by outside organizations, special interests, PACs, because PACs and special interests, they can raise money for candidates, right? They can go mobilize voters, right? Planned Parenthood does a lot of this, right? Planned Parenthood will mobilize voters. They'll support candidates with money. They'll help get volunteers out to get people to the polls or to spread information about the candidate. Sierra Club does the same thing. The NRA does the same thing. So this actually threatens these outside organizations actually threaten the power of political parties, because political parties throughout our history have been really strong because they buy party loyalty. But if you take away this, right? If we take this away, with the exception of attempting to recruit candidates, political party doesn't do much else that interest groups do, right? Interest groups educate people on issues. Interest groups mobilize their supporters to go out and support a particular issue. Interest groups can back candidates. The main source of power that the party had was buying your loyalty by helping you get elected. If there are outside organizations that are now doing that, you don't have to be loyal to a political party, which creates a question of how relevant are political parties still in the American system. That's a deeper question that people far smarter than me will have to figure out. When I talk about party loyalty, political parties, because of increased polarization in American politics, we have something that's known as responsible parties. This is a very popular thing in any country that has a parliamentary democracy. Parties demand strict loyalty to the party platform from their rank and file. So whether you're a mayor or a councilman or a congressman or a senator, the party you belong to expects you to back the party platform through and through, 100%. And the political party will police its ranks. So if it becomes clear that you're not supporting what the party wants you to do, the party can, recruit a primary challenger, right? But it's not just the party that polices; it's the members of the party. So voters, right? Registered Democrats, registered Republicans are out policing their ranks. So a great example that just happened in South Carolina, Congressman Mark Sanford, he was questioned on this. They're like, hey, you are not loyal to the Republican Party platform, right? The president is the head of the political party. Donald Trump is the head of the Republican Party. Donald Trump's platform, Donald Trump's policies are what we expect you to endorse. And guess what, Mark Sanford? You've only voted with the president 73% of the time. We don't think that's loyal enough. All right? So we are going to police our ranks. And guess what? We just voted you out. You're not going to be able to run for Congress next year because you just lost your primary. This is a more and more common theme in American electoral politics, where the party base, the party supporters, are more likely to vote out current sitting members of Congress in a primary due to a lack of what they perceive as loyalty, right? They're disloyal to the political party. The Republicans did this, have been doing this starting since 2010 with the rise of the Tea Party. It's ironic that Mark Sanford was actually a member of the Tea Party. Tea Party members are actually getting primaried now for not being loyal enough to the Republican Party. So came back to bite them. But this is a real problem with American politics. Democrats do this less so. Democrats are more, I don't want to say mainstream because that's just not true, but they're more like chill about moderates, less likely to primary them. But if we take this seriously, right, if responsible parties are a thing, then this is sort of what it looks like, right? This is our diagram of polarization, okay? And if this is where the two parties are, right, here's the middle, right? This line right here represents the moderate position within your party. You want to be on this side of the line, right? You want to be on this side of the line or this side of the line. Because if you're anywhere in here, you're in the danger zone. Because now you're being questioned as to whether or not you're loyal to your party, right? So Mark Sanford falls somewhere in here, or sorry, somewhere over here, right? Not the most conservative member, right? Not a moderate by any means, but somewhere in the middle of his party's platform, right? Somewhere in the middle, ideologically, of where the Republican Party is. That was enough to cost him his seat, right? People have said Joe Manchin, somewhere over here, right? Conservative Democrat, he might get primaried. Didn't happen, right? Joe Manchin won. But there's this danger area where if you're a moderate, if you cross over to the other side, try and compromise, try and be bipartisan, that party members, right, the rank and file voters, will vote you out because they're going to police their ranks because they elected a Democrat. They expect a Democrat to enact Democratic policies, and if you do something other than that, they're going to be upset because they voted for you to do that, right? Same thing with Republicans. It's a real serious issue right now because what it's doing is it's thinning out all the members of Congress who are in here and pushing people out to the flanks, out to the extremes. So when you vacate the middle, right, when you get rid of all the people who are in the middle, what you've done is you've created it incredibly hard to have compromise. Because if people are now on the ideological extremes, because voters have voted that way, it creates all sorts of problems for American democracy. All right? So that's all I've got about parties. See you on the next video.